Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode number 18 of the Soul Rollers podcast. My name is Jackson Gage. I'm here with William Dennis, and we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I think we're getting overloaded with things to talk about. So that's good, man, because our conversation is constantly jiujitsu on a daily basis and life and self-mastery. So we've actually had to start making a list of all the shit we need to talk about on the podcast because it's a nonstop growing type of thing. So we have quite a few things to talk about today. Number one, that we will get into in a little bit is William got his blue belt. So congratulations on that, man. And number two, we have a good question to dissect from one of our listeners about changing gyms. So I want to get into that right away. And I also want to encourage anybody, if you have any topic you'd like us to discuss, we can keep you anonymous and talk about it. And just, maybe there's something that you want to run by somebody and you have nobody to run it by, throw us the question and we'll talk about it on the show because that's what we like doing. So thank you, the guy who sent this question. Thank you for that. What else? Oh, I was in Fresno last weekend and I got to go to a tournament down there with William. That was pretty, the tournament was pretty intense, man. It was like inside of a hot box, down in Southeast Fresno. Yeah, it's where I was born and raised down there. So it was good to be back home. We got to drive around before the tournament and grab some food. So we were driving around the areas we used to patrol, pretty high crime areas. So like every corner, there's memories of something that we did around there. Somebody we chased, a fucking vehicle pursuit we were in, some fight we got in, some blood spilled, whatever, So we can talk about that a little bit. And yeah. Oh, and then the topic of I had just mentioned this to William of anticipating your next belt and worrying about getting your next belt. And because I know a couple of people who are on that route, and it's something I just wanted to discuss. So, and of course, real quick, if you haven't yet, leave a review. Go to iTunes. We would appreciate it. It helps us out. We got a couple of reviews last week, so we appreciate those, very greatly. And
Do you have the names of the people that left a review?
What's that?
Do you have the names of the people that left a review?
Yes, actually, I believe Adam was one of the guys that left a review. So thanks, Adam. Appreciate that greatly, man.
Thank you, brother.
And I got a Taylor Swift song for you. I can dedicate to you for that. And who else? Dorothy. Dorothy's like she's a constant supporter. I've mentioned her before. She doesn't even do jiu-jitsu, man, but she's like digging the content. She's getting stuff out of it. She actually sent me a message and she sent the episode where I talked about my back and how I thought I was going to be freaking disabled for a minute, and kind of rehabilitated myself through that. She sent that to her sister who has a back problem. And she said that it like got her all pumped up to like get moving again. So, and neither one of them do jiu-jitsu. So that's pretty dope. And then just shout out to everybody who's listening. Again, Brandon in Fresno, Brandon Gonzalez. I got to meet with him when I was in Fresno, the owner of Iron Key Real Estate. And that's doing a podcast. It opens up opportunities to reconnect, to network, to meet cool people, who share the same passions as you. So I got to meet up with him. And, again, if you're in Fresno and you want to buy a house or you're looking to buy a house, hit up Brandon at Iron Key Real Estate. He's a blue belt, Pacific Martial Arts, super squared away dude.
Yeah, we'll have to try to get him on too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Brandon will definitely come on. Everybody that I got to shout out to everybody from your team, very cool guys down there from Rivalry, good vibes. Who else? Oh, Savvy. This guy named Savvy just hit me up. He's been listening to the show, man. He digs your freaking talking style, man. He said you're very articulate and he loves listening to you. So that's good, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And anybody else listening, man, we appreciate it. And we're ready to get this thing going. Leave us a rating and review. We got that Soul Rollers page up. That's about to get loaded with content pretty soon. So at Soul Rollers _JJ, check that out. And yeah, man. So
there we go. Shout out to Tom Williams. I got to drill with him yesterday. Fun, really, really good to connect with him and see him get motivated and push himself in there. And he even mentioned how like listening to our podcast pushed him to get back in there. So super grateful for that. That's such a huge compliment to us, and it means the world to us because this is why we do it. To be there for each other. It's the support system that we're trying to put a spotlight on in jiu-jitsu. So super excited about chatting with him and drilling with him, and the fact that I got to be back in there and get to work. So yeah, just excited, man.
Right on. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for listening. And also Juan Garola out there
Yeah.
in the Central Valley. He's been like really listening to the podcast, pumped up. He got his broken toe healed and he's back training now. And we appreciate all the updates, Juan. So keep it up, man. Keep up everything you're doing. Yeah, man. So let's get this thing underway here. If unless there's anything else you want to throw in there before we get started.
The only other thing is I'm excited for the IG page, and just want to call you out on all the work you've been putting in on it. Super appreciative of it, and I'm really excited about the logo. I'm really excited about the content and the way you've created how you're going to put out the content, man. And I really hope that everyone listening follows it and sends you some love and tells you what they think about the page and the logo and everything, because you put in some serious work. So I just want to call you out on that.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's, I love doing it, man. I love creating shit. So like to get an opportunity to create something around jiu-jitsu and personal development is like, fuck, I could do that shit all day, man. So thank you. Much appreciated. So, yeah, man. Other than that, I think I'd like to lead in on this question if we could.
Yeah. Let's do it.
This was sent in by somebody who wanted us to dissect this. So let me find it real quick. And here it is. Okay. So this is a great question. Okay. Yeah, he says, I have a topic that you guys could touch on. It's a bit personal. And I feel like a lot of people have gone through it, not just in jiu-jitsu, but in different avenues of life. It was a personal struggle that I dealt with when I moved to a new state and left my old gym. I tried a new gym and quickly realized that I didn't really want to do jiu-jitsu anymore. I realized it was the people I trained with that I realized it was the people that I trained with that I loved, and the jiu-jitsu was just the medium for it. I actually came home from my second class at this new gym and cried to my wife because it finally hit me that I wasn't missing jiu-jitsu. I was missing my training partners. Since then, I have found a new outlet in spin classes with my wife, and it's been really helpful for me mentally and physically, similar to how jiu-jitsu was. We're meeting new people, and it's been really good. Anyway, sorry to talk your ear off, but I just wanted to share with you. Feel free to share this idea of leaving the gym with William and see what you guys think. So basically, dude left the state, moved to a new gym, and apparently he's a blue belt, and he went to a new gym for a couple days, and he decided he doesn't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore because he misses the atmosphere and the people that he was training with as opposed to the jiu-jitsu. And so he started spin classes. He said it's a good community. He's doing it with his wife, but he went home and he went home to his wife and was like, crying to his wife, like, man, I miss the gym. I miss the people there. It's not as much the jiu-jitsu. And, I'll let you speak on that for a minute. And I got some stuff to add into that for sure.
Yeah. What comes up for me at first is to acknowledge the vulnerability of the question itself, and like the fact that we're putting ourselves in situations that bring up a lot of these emotions, a lot of different things. So just acknowledge he's, working through it and sharing. And in those vulnerable states, it's easy to kind of see yourself as isolated or apart from the bigger group that you're used to being a part of. Camaraderie is like really important in our life. And I know what I went through when I left being a cop. I felt like I got blackballed, man. Like none of the guys I used to work would talk to me anymore. And I know it's a big thing in professional sports as well. Like once you're not a part of the team anymore. One of my friends is he used to be a professional baseball player, and and then he was a cop even too. And so he left both those arenas, and you lose all your friends, you lose your identity, you lose your social circle, And so I understand the vulnerability that it takes to kind of what he's going through, and it's a tough experience. So I don't want any of my responses to this question to not be compassionate or not acknowledge the strength that it takes to ask that question and to go through this experience. So the thing
Yes.
for me is when I left being a cop, I had to rebuild like my social circle, and it came with a lot of like issues because I didn't know how to do that. Especially as men, I don't think we're very good at building connections and stuff. Like you and I went through hardship together, and I think that helped our relationship to get close with each other and to work through stuff. And then personal development and now jujitsu helps us connect in different ways. And I was just talking to a guy, a blue belt at the academy, and we are talking about the community in jujitsu and stuff like that. It teaches men how to connect with each other and support each other. And even if you're in another state, jujitsu still works. Like it's still a community. You're still a part of our family. Even if it's just through this podcast, you're a part of our family. The reason we're doing this is so that we don't lose that connection that you're talking about. We want people to feel a part of this community in jiu-jitsu. And because that connection and that community means so much to me, and it has benefited me so much, this is what motivated me to do the podcast. So for me, I remember starting as a new white belt and feeling like I needed to earn the respect of the guys, and gals, like my family, the people I train with. It's like I didn't feel like I was a part of the group. And some of that was my own self-doing. Like I kind of isolated myself because I didn't feel like I deserved their respect yet. So we do that to ourselves. So some of this might be him pressuring himself, like he doesn't feel like deserving of like being at the other place or whatever it might be. I think we do that. And then the other part is I wasn't a part of the group. They didn't know me yet. There's some of the guys are like, this guy's pretty cool. Like, we'll see what he does, and you got to work your way, like building to be a part of the tribe. Right. And I think that there comes a lot of benefits with that because you gain confidence and self-respect and you see yourself differently once you earn that spot. And I really feel like that's been a journey for me in my academy. And I think it's done in a way that's very healthy if you really trust the process with jiu-jitsu. And I trust my coach, my professor, I trust him, and he does it where he really respects everyone and he's a good guy. And so it's a good community. Trust the process, trust the community. Do not quit. Do not go to spin class unless it's in addition to, but do not stop doing jiu-jitsu, right? That's another goal I have for this podcast is I want it to bring like people to jiu-jitsu. I want it to encourage people to continue to go to jiu-jitsu. And I want it to like be something that motivates them to stay in it, work together and push each other to go further in jiu-jitsu. Right.
Yes.
Those are goals I have, intentions I have every day I sit down to do this with you or whatever days we do it. And so I really want to focus on those things. I don't know if that brought up anything for you or if I didn't touch on everything. Go ahead and share what you think.
No, yeah, I want to share a few things on this. And one thing that brought up at the end there was, we've talked about this before, but jiu-jitsu, that's the whole reason for this podcast. Jiu-jitsu will give you what you need. And your situation that you're experiencing right now with that question is what you need in life right now. It's showing you your weakness. That's showing you your weakness. And jiu-jitsu will do that for you continually. And that's why we've created this podcast, because jiu-jitsu is showing us our weaknesses. And when our weaknesses are being brought to light, then we can make those weaknesses strong. And if you're feeling any type of, if you're feeling like you want to quit, maybe you should reevaluate why inside of you, why are you unable to adapt to this new situation? Like William said, and this is all learning, right? This is personal development. This comes with experience. You have to put yourself through the flames of life to become the person that you're meant to be. You can't hide from the flames. The flames are always going to be there. And on the other side of the flames are growth. When I left being a police officer, same thing, man. I was there for a decade. I built my whole network around these people that I worked with, guys with the same sense of humor, guys who understood me, guys who went through the same shit as me, guys who've seen the same fucking gory bullshit that we saw all the time, and then I retired and all of a sudden there's this wall between me and all those guys. I lost my whole network of people. Maybe William and maybe one or two other guys have stuck around as friends. And then you come into this dark place and it's called the learning of life. And so from there, and I'm just sharing this story so you can kind of understand, like the process. From there, I sold everything in the town that I was in for 35, 34 years. And I moved to fucking Kauai, with my wife at the time and two kids, somewhere where I didn't know one goddamn person. I had to start my whole life over again, and it took a while for me to even make friends there. And then you become, you're not a local there, so it takes a lot to be accepted into that community. I got a job there. I was working loss prevention there at this really nice fucking St. Regis hotel. And you're working there with, the whole team of security guys were local Hawaiians. And here I am, this dude from California, and it wasn't comfortable. And any job or anything new for me, what I found, it takes 3, 4, 5 months of consistency to find a groove, to get comfortable, so people get to know you. And as long as you have a good heart, and you're good to people, you're going to build those bonds and you're going to become a stronger person because of it. So where you're feeling resistance is where you kind of need to direct yourself. Where me and William have talked about many times, let fear be your compass. If for some reason you're feeling fear and discomfort, that's the compass pointing you to where you need to go in your life to become a stronger person. So like William said, I don't think, I say, you go in there, maybe try another gym if you didn't like the vibe, or go in there and give yourself 3 months, because you've already gotten to the blue belt level. So you're on the journey, and nothing, believe me, there's not many things in this life that's going to give you for your life what jiu-jitsu is going to give you. And I really want to encourage you to at least give it 3 to 6 months of consistency, because what's going to happen is you're going to form bonds. You're going to earn that respect. You're going to get better at jiu-jitsu. You're going to make friends. You're going to be accepted into that portion of the community. And like William said, man, jiu-jitsu is such a beautiful worldwide community. You're still part of that community, wherever you may be. Like through this podcast, you're part of the community. You're a brother to us just because you're in the same struggle as us. You're doing jiu-jitsu, man. So I just want to encourage you, get in there. Don't let this, jiu-jitsu is giving you what you need right now as a person. Jiu-jitsu found a weakness in you, and it's not bad. I'm not putting you down, or we all have fucking weaknesses, but jiu-jitsu found a hole in your game. Right. And it's not even in it's not even in technique. It's in the personal development portion of it. So that's why you got to aim your compass right back in there and step into the fire and adapt. And as you adapt, you're going to become a stronger person. And as you become a stronger person, everything in you gain confidence. And as you gain that confidence, everything in your life gets better because you went toward the fear and toward the flame. So that's my thoughts on it. Don't quit. Don't quit, man. So.
Yeah. And like the coach in me, the human being in me wants to acknowledge like, hey, what I felt when I first started, the suck, the new, the isolation, all that is instinctually like igniting to ourselves, like our personal, like self-preservation, like our brain to survive. So when you feel like you're out of the tribe, that means death to our brain. That's not a reality. It's an illusion, but that doesn't mean it doesn't count. Like if we feel that inside, it's valid. So don't overlook that and just hammer your way through and just think that, because just like I felt the same way recently because I had the concussion. I was out of the academy for 3 weeks. I wasn't there. I didn't get to hang out with the guys. I didn't get to be there and feel like I was there, Thankfully, I had guys reaching out and checking on me and got to see them and stuff. But it's hard being away, right? Just like you're saying, we build our networks and our lifestyle around this certain thing and we think it's us. It's just an experience we're having in life. And thankfully, the community in jiu-jitsu is so broad and so amazing that it's very inclusive. But at the end of the day, you're never outside of that. And you got to remind yourself, you got to take the time to acknowledge, hey, this is fear. And just because it is my compass doesn't mean I stop being a human being and I just force my way through it. Don't do that, because that creates coping mechanisms and different things you have to deal with later on. That is not how we want to approach it. But what you're saying is dead on. Like, yes, but also don't forget you're a human being. And that's why we're here doing this podcast to go, hey, I'm scared too, man. Shared experience is powerful. And just by you being vulnerable and stepping into this is going to make space for someone else to share that they're kind of worried about it too. Or, hey, man, I don't know about this either. Should I do this? And we're here for each other. And And that's what it's all about. So you're right on track. You're doing great, and appreciate your vulnerability. Appreciate you being a part of jiu-jitsu, and letting us, riff on this a little bit. And anything I could do to help, just let us know, man.
Yeah, for sure. Hit us up if you want to follow up on the question, whatever it is. If you're listening and you have a question similar or whatever it is, man, hit us up at the Increase Life. You can hit me up at the Will Dennis, but now we have at Soul Rollers _ JJ. So hit us up there with any questions,
Yeah.
anything, man, on these type of topics, and we'll get into it for you and see if we can extract some gems out of there for you. So yeah, man, great question. Thanks for sending that in, and hopefully you get back in there. Hopefully you get back in there because it's going to really strengthen your network there, and you'll be glad that you did. Eventually, give it 3-4 months of consistency, and you'll be feeling great about it.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So, the other thing was, well, we got a few things, man. So we got some time here. We got a few things to talk about, but I guess we can get into, because it's a big deal, and we can get into your getting your blue belt, man. We'll get that topic up here for a minute, and so congratulations on that. That's a big deal, man. That's a big stepping stone for you, man. It feels good. I bet it feels good to, and you just got to, you were injured, so you just got to finally go back into the gym with your blue belt on and shit, right?
Yeah, man. Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
deal, man. It's, you know, I've tried to downplay it a little bit before I got the promotion and all that, but really, like, just accepting it and receiving it means a lot. A lot of the guys have reached out and talked to me about it, and it feels amazing to be respected, and to be appreciated for my work that I put in. And it matters, man. It's a good thing. I've grown as a man. I've grown, as a human being off the mats as much as I have on the mats, and that means something to me. The man I am today, even how we were reflecting, and this is kind of going off topic to what we're going to talk about after this, who we were like when we got to drive around Southeast and talk and reminisce, so to speak. It showed me how far I've come in the time I've been away, and complete and utter transformation. It's like a total metamorphosis from who I was then till now. And I'm super grateful for that,
yeah, big time.
So,
Yeah. Well, congratulations, man. That's a big deal, and we just keep on grinding, man. Keep on fucking our ears up and shit.
hell yeah.
Yep.
Need-
On that topic, since you kind of just brought it up, that so those that don't know, I mentioned in the beginning, I went to a tournament. I was in Fresno visiting my parents there, and there was a tournament. So I linked up with William. Haven't seen him in a while, and we went to a tournament. And the tournament was down in Southeast Fresno, and Southeast Fresno is kind of a high crime area. It's where I started my career as a police officer. I spent most of my career there in Southeast Fresno. Really high crime, high gangs, all kind of gangs there. Lots of drugs, lots of guns, lots of violence, prostitution, everything you could think of down there. And so, and that's it's in the area where I freaking spent my whole life growing up, man. So I got to police the area that I grew up in. So shout out to East Fresno, represent. I always got to rep East Fresno, Mayfair District, no matter where I go in the world. So yeah. But we were down there driving around, and like you said, man, from there, every corner. I mean, we're driving, and almost every corner, one of us could mention some type of shit that happened right there. Like, oh, that's where I got in that fight with that kid and cracked his skull. Yeah, that's where we got in this fight with this guy in the middle of the street, and he's pouring blood all over the fucking street, and he's getting tased, and he's still throwing punches, and and it's a knockdown, drag out fucking fight, or this is where so-and-so ran from me. This is where this guy got shot. This is where this car accident was, where the car got ripped in half and the people were decapitated and shit, whatever it may be. And just to be down there and remember, damn, we were living that life. That was that you got to be, I think, to live the life and to do the job that we were doing. It's not all police officers, but you got to be, to do the type of shit we were doing, man. Like, you got to be a little bit, I don't know what the fuck, you got to be little bit off your rocker, or looking for some fucking adventure type of shit, like, but to go from there where you're just uptight, stressed out, running around like a madman, looking for violence. Pretty much, you're looking for violent situations to put yourself in on a nightly basis, to be, calm and relaxed. And where both of us are now, man, you're right, dude. Like, what a fucking long way we've come from there, man. What a different life it is now. And I'm happy. But it was good to go there and see, man. It felt good to drive around there with you and check it out and remember what we used to do, man. So I'm glad you brought that up. I don't know if that,
it goes out to all first responders. What you do is amazing. What you put yourself through, as sad as it is now that I've been on the other side of it, it's, I just want all of them to be appreciated. Nurses, doctors, paramedics, firefighters, cops, all you guys do an amazing job. And it asks so much of a human being. And it's not what we were like, our system was built to do, but yet people push themselves to do it out of service. So I always want to acknowledge people that do that, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure. It takes a lot. And it's crazy how many stories we have. You don't even realize it until you drive around a little bit. You're like, oh man, what about this? Oh man, you remember that?
Yeah.
It was a crazy experience, but it had like a good feel to it. It wasn't like I didn't go back into trauma. I felt good, like having that experience with you,
Yeah. That was a good day. Good reminder.
I guess that kind of goes back to how I got my blue belt. It feels like, hey, there was some hardship, there were some challenging times. I got my butt kicked a lot to get there. You feel like you're just constantly getting your butt kicked. You have to grind to get there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was a good experience getting my blue belt and seeing the guys that were there supporting me, pushing me, challenging me, providing the resistance I needed to become better. Like, it was a team effort, and that's what I said after I got it, was like, man, like I almost forgot how much compassion and love and just, what was inside me because of what I experienced going with PTSD and everything I was doing as a cop. Like, the academy reminded me of who I was. And so every day I went, it was a little bit more of finding myself again and reminding myself of who I have the ability and the capacity to be. And that's why I love jiu-jitsu. And that's why I love everyone in the academy that has helped me see that, find that, and then continue to grow it through self-mastery and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Honor. It's an honor. Yeah. It was such an honor. So, and I couldn't do it alone,
Yeah. Yeah, man. That was definitely. And then even going to that tournament, that was pretty cool experience, man. It was in like a gym. I mean, I don't know if that was a gym or what that was, something at the fairgrounds. And it was like that day in Fresno, it was like 110, but inside of the gym, it was like 125 or something. Like you just walk in there and your t-shirt gets soaked fucking right off the bat, and guys are in there competing. It was crazy, man. It was like some crazy Fight Club shit, super intense. We got to watch some of your teammates compete, D, shout out to D. I got to watch him compete. Super solid performance, man. Looked really good. Yeah.
Carlos.
Yeah. I didn't know their names.
Boy. Tiffany competed. Who else? Andrew. Who else did I see? There's someone else.
Little Mo with the gimpy leg.
What's that?
Nothing.
But yeah, someone else competed. She took gold too. Who else was it?
I got to meet one of your teammates who I think his name was Irving. He said he listens to the podcast and everything. So shout out to Irving. Appreciate that, man. It was fun,
man. Coach was there, professor was there. You got to see them, and it was just nice. It's like anywhere you go, you bump into those guys, and it's funny because we talked about that a little bit. Like some of the guys, like you're just so different in the academy than you are out in normal life. And normal life, you may never approach each other, you may never connect, you may never talk. But because of jiu-jitsu, you got to know them on such a deeper level. It doesn't matter what's going on in their day-to-day life. If you come across them and maybe they're a totally different person than you in day-to-day life, but because you have the connection that you've built through like really hard rules or hard work or pushing each other in the academy, you're instantly brothers or sisters. Like you're family, right? It's like, hey, we have a connection, and it's always going to be a deeper connection than most people really experience on, most is such a superficial, like, hey, I know of you, you're an acquaintance. I don't really know who you are, but I know your name. Jiu-jitsu creates like a camaraderie, like we're talking about, that regardless of who you are on day-to-day life, like maybe, you're totally different person than I am, because we have the experience that brings us closer through the community of jiu-jitsu and the experience and the art of jiu-jitsu. It's almost like it bypasses all the bullshit. Like, I don't give a fuck if you like rap music and I like country music. I don't give a fuck if um, you like stuff differently than me. I know who you really are because I've seen you struggle. I've seen you push yourself when you were tired, you wanted to quit and you kept going. That means something. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit if you like the color red and I like the color blue. It's all superficial bullshit, right? I don't know
Yeah.
if that brings up anything for you, but I was just like, I love that.
No, it does. And even more than just seeing someone struggle, being, I think, because we talked about it before, uh there's a difference. It's something about when you get in there and freaking toss it around, when you roll, when you scrap with somebody, when you roll with somebody, once you roll with somebody, because there could be somebody that you see like a new blue belt came in and it's been about 3 weeks and we haven't rolled yet. I see him, he sees me, but we haven't fucking locked up horns and we're not really homies yet. But this one night we're gonna fucking go 6 minutes and fucking scrap it up, and right after that you're buddies. After that, you fucking got each other's back. After that, you know each other well. 6 minutes, and there's no judgment. And it brings you into the presence of people who, because of our, a lot of time, just the way we are as humans, we judge people based on our own perception of ourself, right? So there's how many people on earth? 7 something billion. 7 something billion people are going to see a different William Dennis because they're just seeing the world as a reflection of themselves, right? So, you know, when you get in there in jiu-jitsu, it kind of takes all the judgment away and you just see the person for their heart, and you see them and that's the true connection of humans is the heart connection, man. And so, you know, you're going to meet some really eclectic people, man, people you never would have been friends with. And when you meet those type of people, your view of the world expands. You see the world differently. And I just can't say enough good things about it, man, about getting in there and rolling with somebody for fucking 5, 6, 10 minutes. It'll shit's life changing, man.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, what came up for me when you shared that was like, damn, like that's what I was talking about when I got my blue belt. It was like, man, like finally for once, people see me for me, not for the bullshit projection I'm putting out or the mask I'm wearing to keep myself safe for self-preservation, to protect my vulnerability of like, oh no, what if I'm not accepted in this community? And that's what, the guy that asked the question, that's what he's experiencing right now. You're having a human experience, brother. And we have it every single day too. And the reason I was so honored to get my blue belt was because I had that experience too. I've been very isolated. I've been very cut off from my network, my community that I thought was strong. Like I literally put myself between bullets in these guys, and they stopped calling me. They stopped checking in on me. And I know the feeling. I get it. I know why it happens, but I thought it was deeper than that and I was mistaken. And now in jiu-jitsu, like I have very much exposed myself for my frustration, for my weaknesses, right? Hey, I'm not good at jiu-jitsu. I suck. And so I've swam across this river of misery, this suck, right? And when I've got to the other side, which I'm not saying I'm somewhere in jiu-jitsu. I'm just saying I got through that internal battle that I was having about jiu-jitsu and about community and about connection with guys. I built this network of people in my life that I can trust that is going to be there for me, because the other one got, taken away from me, so to speak. And they betrayed me, so to speak, if I want to internalize it that way. And that let me down. So now I had to like open myself up very vulnerably to this new community. And thankfully the community is jiu-jitsu. And jiu-jitsu knows, man, it knows how to support you. It's a support system, that is so amazing. And it was almost like a revelatory process. Like I was revealing myself to these people and I got nothing but acceptance in return every single part of the way. Just like you said, it's so accepting because it's not bullshit. It's not based on superficial bullshit. I'm not some tough guy that likes guns and shit like that. I never fucking liked guns. I never shot a gun until I became a cop. When I went to the academy, they're like, here you go. Here's a gun. I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this thing?
Yeah.
And so I just learned on the go. I didn't fight people. I wasn't a violent guy, but man, I learned in the fucking mean streets of Southeast Fresno. I learned how to fight and I was good at it. I was mean as shit. And that's
Yeah.
how I learned, in the alleyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm learning a whole new version of myself. When I went and competed, I got to know myself. I was loving his shit. And coach, he talked about me before he gave me my blue belt, which was such an honor. He talked about me as a very loving, kind person, someone who's very humble. I'm like blown away. I'm like, man, is he talking about me or someone else he's going to promote? Like, and he said me, and I'm like, this is me. Like these people know me for my heart, right?
Yes.
They know, and they're reminding me of who I am every day by accepting me. That's the kind of mirror that jujitsu is. And that's the kind of people that I've trained with. Those people push me to be myself and learn to get to a blue belt level in life. What an
Yes.
honor.
Yeah.
Don't take that away from yourself by quitting because you're in an uncomfortable environment. Jiu-jitsu is a process. Stick with the process, right? But man,
Especially in as you're talking, I'm thinking, man, especially in today's world, like any community you get in, man, everything's getting more and more superficial.
yep.
You know, man, there's just so much fake bullshit out there. You know, everybody's putting up fake shit on goddamn social media, you know, acting like they're living these perfect lives. And you hear it a lot, but you see it, you know, and it's easy to compare yourself to that. And I mean, even if you go into some whatever spin class or whatever the fuck you know, jogging club, whatever you're getting into, the people that you're in that community, you're making friends with, you're still just living through this it's you're not going to get the level of connection that you're going to get, you know, if you go in and you know, you have that same person driving their forearm into your neck for 3 minutes and you can't get away, you know, and they're sweating on your forehead and shit and you can't breathe. You know what I mean? That's all those judgments and perceptions and fake bullshit. You know, you can bring your fake. That's whenever I see that shit, whenever I see the ego in somebody, I'd probably see it from myself, you know, because I've struggled with it. But when I see it, I'm like, fuck, you need to come into jujitsu, motherfucker. Like get into jujitsu because that's it's gonna exercise the demons, man. You know, you can't hide, you can't like you said, the facade, that facade that we put out, like you know, we're greater than we are and we lack humility and we're putting out this fake shit on the internet. Come into jiu-jitsu, you know, and get your sternum smashed for a few minutes and you can't breathe and you got some big motherfucker on top of you, you know.
It
And
doesn't sound very inviting, but
yeah, you know, but for the people in jiu-jitsu listening who's probably listening to this, you get it. You fucking get it. You know, like it takes away all the bullshit. It takes away all the you know, you got to work through your insecurities, you got to work through your weaknesses, and it'll forge you into a fucking warrior of a human, you know.
yeah, it's holy
And
ground, man. It's
yeah,
holy
it's
ground. Yeah, it's
exactly.
holy
And that's
ground.
why we bow when we walk on the mat.
Yeah,
At least I do, you know.
it lets you exercise those demons, right?
Yep.
You
And
know,
there's
and when you bring those demons on the mats, like you're one of those guys that uses strength over technique, it will catch up to you. So I'm not saying jujitsu is perfect. There's no flaws. That anytime there's humans involved, there's insecurities, there's flaws, there's weaknesses, and that's the sacredness of jujitsu. Is it's the perfect platform to exercise those demons, I believe.
yeah, yeah.
You know, because
And
there's guys that you know, even upper belts, yeah, at times you come across and they're just, you know, you know, I was talking to someone the other day. We mentioned a certain person, and you know, it's like, yeah, man, that's. But when you get that, you know, you can tell it's their insecurity driving them to act that way. You know, to use strength and to injure people or whatever it is. You know, and
yeah,
it's a select few. It's a very select few because they haven't exercised that. They haven't got into that vulnerability. They haven't let go of their ego. You can tell when someone's coming from insecurity because when you roll with a black belt, man, when I roll with professor, there's no ego. Dude, he looks like a little kid just having a blast. And I'm like, what the heck, you know? And
yeah.
it's just so amazing because it's sacred ground, man. Sacred ground.
Yep. Yeah, man. It's good shit. And on that topic, there we can kind of like go into this next topic that I kind of wanted to bring up is I've I have a couple of friends who are blue belts and I've heard them talking about like it, you know, oh, I've been a blue belt for 3 years, you know, I think it's about time should be getting my purple belt. And that topic comes up kind of often. And I just wanted to delve into that a little bit because from just, I mean, from my perspective, it's like, that's not even, especially now that I was in my mind, I was like, man, I kind of want to get, I want to get my blue belt, you know, like I was like, fuck, I just don't want to be a goddamn white belt. This is my ego, you know? But as I got my blue belt and I'm learning jujitsu and the concepts behind jujitsu and learning what it's all about, it's like, fuck your belt, you know, like for one, fuck your belt, you know, like don't, that has nothing to, if you don't have your purple belt yet or whatever belt, it's just because you're not to that level yet. You know, there's no time limit on it. Instead of wondering when the professor is going to give you your fucking belt, wonder how you can get better. Like, when are you going to get better, motherfucker? You know, like if I have no, to me, it's like, dude, I'm just loving jujitsu. And if I get a fucking purple belt one day, I'll get a purple belt and that'll be great. And I'm hoping to goodness that when I get that motherfucker, that I can represent it well, you know, like, okay, you gave it to me and I can fucking rep this shit, you know? But I do know, I didn't realize it, but there's a lot of people who worry about that shit. They worry about getting their belts. And that's part of the process, showing you your weakness. You know, if your work jujitsu is showing you your weakness, and what's your thoughts on that, you know?
Yeah, like I said, I can get into semantics. Like weakness is a powerful word. It's a very tough like thing to swallow sometimes. But like I said, jujitsu is a sacred ground. So you can say weakness, struggle, tendency, whatever you want to call it. But it's like live by faith and trust the process and don't put the cart before the horse. All these sayings, like these things that we talk about, you know, it's like, okay, I get it, but how do you live into that? It's like common sense isn't as very common, and it's even less common practice. Like, how do we make these things a practice? How do we trust the process? What is the practice of trusting the process? That's what jujitsu does. It's sacred ground to teach you how to live in faith, that you can progress a little bit incrementally day by day and become something greater than you thought you could. Right? That's the process. Trust the process of the mentor that is guiding you. There was a quote I heard the other day. It's like George Bernard Shaw. He's a really famous dude, or a really cool dude. I've read a lot of his stuff. And he talked about like, hey, I'm not your teacher. I'm just a fellow traveler pointing ahead. When you ask me a question or I'm trying to show you something, it's just me pointing ahead of myself and you on this journey of life that we're having. And we're just going in this direction together. So don't think that I'm being, pretentious by trying to tell you what to do. I'm just offering up, kind of a guiding light towards a certain direction. If it speaks to you, go on it. And that's what I feel like I can trust in my professor. Solid human being, right? I can trust in you when I open up to you about my shortcomings. We're just fellow travelers on this road together. And I really believe that there's this urge, because I've had people come up to me now that I got my blue belt and it's all shiny and sparkly, not a freaking smear on it. It's just, I'm like, dude, can I wear this thing? It's so brand new. But and it's gonna get smeared up pretty quickly. I'm sure when I get back to full rolls, I'm gonna get my butt whooped, So because it's gonna be another level, of challenge.
What were you saying? You were saying you had people come up to you and then you started talking about your belt.
Yeah. I know I'm trying to brag about my blue belt a little bit.
No,
but yeah, I've had white belts come up to me like, man, when am I going to get mine? When am I going to get the blue belt? Like I'm only a few behind you, right? That kind of thing. And I'm like, really? Bro, like, dude, it's not like that. It doesn't work. There's not a time stamp that you get. Like, it's not like you're going to work and you work 17 days and you get a paycheck. It's not like that. It's a journey. Trust the process, right? It's developing you into a better human being. And it can reveal to you certain shortcomings, weaknesses, or however you want to label them, which that was where this process took me, so trust the process. It's a container for you to grow. Where are you not taking responsibility? Where are you not wanting to let fear guide you? That kind of thing. And I think it's just a human flaw that we all have, the comparison, the outcome first, because really, what is this whole thing about? It isn't about some outcome. If you're trusting the process, then the struggle should always be worth it. If you just are there to get an outcome, if you're just there to get a purple belt, to prove something to other people, the struggle will never be worth it. You're never going to be able to sustain, regardless of how much willpower you have to force yourself to do it. Only struggle with shit that's worth it. And what this blue belt can call you to become and what a purple belt can call you to become is the process of being a better you. It's a declaration that you're going to sacrifice time and hard work and comfort to become a better version of yourself. It's a declaration saying, hey, I believe I can put in the work, I can stay committed, and I can discipline my lifestyle and myself to become a better version of myself a certain amount of time down the road. I don't know how much time. I don't know what it's going to take. I probably don't even believe I have what it takes to be able to do it, but I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to build a support system to help me keep pushing, and I'm going to become a better version of myself, regardless of the outcome. The struggle is worth it.
Yeah.
And if the struggle is worth it, you can overcome any obstacle or any weakness or any human flaw.
Yeah. And like you said, like you said, that's another lesson that jiu-jitsu teaches us, as a metaphor for everything else in life. Like in our society, especially, we're so outcome based, and that's when you get enslaved to unhappiness, when you're chasing after outcomes, when you're doing things just to make money or whatever. I'm doing this just to get my belt. When, as long as you're looking for the outcome is going to elude you, and the gem that you're searching for is never going to be fucking found. You're never going to find what you're looking for in life if you're chasing outcomes. I'll be happy when I get the right woman. I'll be happy when I get the right career. Never going to happen. I'll be happy when I get my blue belt. Never going to fucking happen. You have the way you change that is find happiness in what you're doing in the moment. Fill your day with things that make you happy. Do things that are worth it to you. You put in the work because you enjoy fucking doing it. It's like going, we go and open the gym on Tuesdays. I've talked about, in like 2 hours, we're just in there fucking. It's because we love fucking doing it. I love it. There's no outcome I'm looking for. I want to get good at jiu-jitsu. I can wear my blue belt the rest of my goddamn jiu-jitsu career. Shit, I want to wear my blue belt and fucking start smashing purple belts. Like, that would be awesome. I don't need a fucking purple belt to fucking beat. I mean, I don't need a purple belt to be able to fucking go in there and compete with purple belts. I just want to get good at jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Fuck the belt color. Fuck what the belt color. You're just showing other people, And one thing, you're in a rush to get your next belt. Here's your purple belt, motherfucker. Now, are you good enough to have it? Do you deserve that shit? Like, can you hang like the white belt? Here's your blue belt. And now you got to go in there and are you, can you hang with that? Or are you going to fucking make a fool of yourself because you wanted some outcome that you didn't earn yet? You know what I mean? So my advice on that is just, man, trust the process. Do you love jiu-jitsu, or what the fuck are you doing it for? Why are you doing it? A colored fucking belt around your waist, or to become a better person?
The accolades will never match the character building aspects, right? And that's something that my coach shared to me. He's like, I just don't promote you on your technical skill. I promote you on your growth and character. I want you to be a great human being off the mats just as much as you are on the mats. And it's like, what? That's the person I'm following? Hell yeah, sign me up for that process, right? It's a process. And you aren't your belt. At the end of the day, I'm not a gold medal if I win at the tournament. You don't go to the tournament to win. You go there to get better at jiu-jitsu. You don't go to the mats to win. You go there to get better at jiu-jitsu. That's a process. It's not an accolade.
Yes.
And you'll run out of people to acknowledge you and validate you externally as you walk around with a blue belt saying, yeah, I made it. It's like, dude, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. That gold medal winning at a competition at a white belt, it stopped mattering as soon as I left that arena that I was, competing in. Like, it just stopped mattering. It's like, cool, you get a little gold belt, like a gold medal or something. But okay, what's next? What's the next step in the process? That's it.
Yeah. What's the next battle? What's the next flames that we can walk into?
It really is just a revelatory process of just revealing yourself. And the purple belt is just a mirror. Different experiences, just a mirror, and my coach even said that at the promotion. He said, getting a blue belt doesn't mean you're not going to get tapped by white belts. It's not what this is about. It's a character growth moment. It's a moment that we've grown to this level where I see that you're ready for this next, opportunity to live into. And it's like what you said with relationships, just finding and getting married doesn't solve all marital problems or whatever you're trying to use to solve that. Like, oh, I found this perfect woman. Now I'll be happy. That's just a mirror to reveal to you where you don't love yourself, to reveal to you why you're holding back your own ability for happiness. Like a good metaphor I've heard recently was like a power plant doesn't like, you know, you know, create energy. It's a generator. It just generates energy. It doesn't come from the power plant. That's not where the energy come from. It's just a generator of energy that puts it out. So we're responsible for the energy we take with us everywhere we go and what we put out. It was just a really cool metaphor. And I'm like, dang, like, yeah, how am I not taking responsibility for my mindset? You know, if I'm accolade based, if I'm outcome based, I'm never going to value the work that it went to earn the accolade itself.
Yeah.
And that's such a limited version of this human experience. It's a very limited way. Being present every single day, enjoying the day, not avoiding the experience is how you live. You live life. You don't wait. It's just you're waiting to get like mile markers on this journey of life. And that's all you get as an experience of life. That's a really sad way to live. Like that's what I love about jiu-jitsu is getting smashed like you're talking about. Like at the end of that, you're laying there on the mat covered in sweat and not all of it's your sweat. You're picking someone else's hair out of your teeth. Like, you know what I mean? And it's not from biting them. It's just, I don't know how it gets in your teeth. I don't know if you've ever had that. It's disgusting, but hey,
Pubes.
no, I don't know about pubes. It definitely, some of the guys have like long hair.
Yeah.
I obviously don't, but
Sonny, you motherfucker. That
not
happened
my
the other
hair.
night. I had Sonny's back, and this dude Sonny, I had his back, and he's like a surfer dude, so he's got like fucking longer hair on top, and his sweaty hair just fucking kept falling right into my goddamn mouth. So I'm spitting it out.
It's actually a weapon. It's
back
like
in my mouth.
I've been like a couple of guys were on top of me. They have long hair. It could smother you. It's like hey, I can't breathe. Like, you have to like smack their hair out of your face.
It's all wet and shit. Yeah, fucking gross.
Oh God, I love jiu-jitsu, man.
Dude, there was a couple, before I forget, there's a couple things to touch on that you were on your talk right there.
Yeah, go for it, man.
No, damn it, I forgot what one of them was. Damn it.
It'll come back.
On a spiritual level, man, as far as like the outcome based shit, like it's almost this weird trickery that we live in this outcome based world. And the magic happens when you learn how to stop going for the outcomes. And then, like you said, enjoy each day and live each day to the fullest. Fill your day with things that make you happy. Raise your vibration to another level. Become very positive and make that a disciplined effort to do the things you love, be happy, and raise your vibration on a daily basis. Let go of all the outcomes. You'll hear all spiritual teachers from Jesus to fucking Buddha to the Bhagavad Gita to fucking successful people, prosperity teachers. Every one of them talk about detaching from the outcome and how it's going to happen. Let go of the motherfucking outcome. Just get that fucking out of your mind. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't worry about your belt or whatever outcome you're looking for. Worry about being present in the moment and enjoying the moment and being happy and having a positive attitude and enjoying life. And as you raise that vibration, all that other shit will come to you, and that right there is the power and the magic of in life itself, man. And, we can say it a million times, but I'm just barely figuring that out, how to apply that in my life after years of working on this, years and years of working on this idea of detachment. Because you can tell people about letting go and detachment, but people aren't going to learn from your words. The God or the universe or whatever, the fucking process of life is going to teach you through hard lessons. And so you can keep on learning those hard lessons, or you can just fucking let go, whatever it is you're struggling with in life, let the shit go, let it go, man. We're all fucking dust in the wind. It's going to be over before you know it. Release it and enjoy your life, because you can't control shit. You think you control anything in this fucking universe? The universe is in control, man. God, whatever you believe, there's someone else driving this fucking ship. We're just here, man, floating along in it. And as soon as you can let go of control, you can't control it. You can't control other people, the situations, any of that shit, man. I just want to really drive that point home. The outcomes, all that shit, let it go, and as you let that go, your life becomes better. Your life becomes more fuller and rich and prosperous, and you find happiness, And that's where the happiness is found. And really, happiness isn't found in accolades, right? We're looking for happiness. Money, what are you looking for with money? You think you're going to get happy? What are you looking for with your purple belt? You think that's going to make you a happy person? That woman that you want to get, you think that's going to make you happy? That car you want to get to impress other people, you think that's going to make you happy? None of that is going to create happiness within yourself. And when you let all that go and you work on finding happiness within you, everything that you've ever wanted is going to come to you, and you don't have to chase it anymore, because chasing is just going to force it to elude you. So yeah, man, that was the one topic.
It's a revelatory process. So you don't find happiness. You inside you is the capacity to experience happiness at all times. Everything in life is just a journey back to yourself. So you may attract things to you because, and you can get into a law of attraction and people are like, yeah, it's bullshit or whatever. But it's not even that like everything comes to you that you want. It's you discover that everything you ever wanted and needed was inside you already. So you stop seeking it outside of you. And so you stop resisting stuff that isn't there and this, that, and the other. And we can get deep into personal development here. But this is all a revelatory process for you to come back to home, which is the essence of who you are, and realize that you were always enough, that you never needed all that external bullshit to justify you not being enough and to overcome that and compensate for it. How many 1-month-old babies do you see in therapy? Why is that?
You don't.
They don't need therapists? No, because you're fucking great. The moment you're born, you're good enough. You had enough. You were enough. And we forgot that through our human experiences. And just like jiu-jitsu is sacred ground because it reveals those weaknesses, those insecurities, those compensations that we're trying to create, those masks we're wearing. That's all that this is. You don't need to find that. You need to go back home to the truth of who you are, and things, people, and circumstances. Peter Crone, I love that dude. He listen to him all the time. And he says a quote, the circumstances and people in your life are there to reveal where you're not free. That's all it is. Everything you experience, the hard rolls, the resist, like one of the things that competition taught me was to fall in love with the uncertainty in jiu-jitsu. Every class I went to, and I remember, we could probably go back and find the polos where I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I can go tonight, man. I'm nervous. Oh man, because I was going to go get my fucking ass whooped. And I knew it because I can't control like you're talking about. I can't control the resistance I was going to get because I didn't know who I was going to roll with. Coach just says, hey, you go with this guy. Hey, you go over there with that guy. I'm like, oh man, that guy always whoops my ass, Yeah. And so my ego or my self-preservation would be like, don't go. It's uncertain. So we hide from uncertainty as if it's going to help us, and it's only hurting us. It's a revelatory process. You need to go in there. Now I'm looking forward because I went to that competition and I rolled the guys I'd never met in my life before. And it was freaky and it was weird. And I'm like, oh, like I love that now. When I go to class now, I'm like, oh man, I hope I roll with someone I haven't rolled with in a while. Like I hope I roll with someone that I don't remember what their game is and they catch me in something. Cause I'm like, oh, look at you slipping, and they provide a resistance where they're teaching me where I'm not free, where I'm not like focused, where I'm not present. Like they're teaching me something about myself now. And so the competition, which is what I needed to realize where I wasn't free, to realize where I was holding myself back. And everything in our life is a mirror pointing us back to ourselves. Where are you judging yourself? Where are you not kind to yourself? I've been really hard on myself throughout this recovery from my concussion. And now all of a sudden here I am all happy because I got to roll a little bit and I'm back to class. Nothing changed in my life, really. It was just me being kinder to myself because now I validate myself a little bit more because I'm training. Not fair. That's where jiu-jitsu is revealing to me where I'm not kind to myself when I need to rest and recover. You know that too. You took time off, right? And
yeah, man,
you're kind of a proponent that helps me learn that it's okay to take some time off and not be so hard on myself.
Yeah, man, I was out for like 6 months, fucking trying to figure out this back bullshit, And real quick, also, you had mentioned something a minute ago when you were talking about, and it has to do with this same idea of accolades and competing. And I had told you this the other day, but I kind of wanted to just go into this for a second. I was after practice the other day, my professor, Mike, and myself and one of my training partners, Sonny, we went to get some acai bowls, and we were So Sonny's going to he's gonna compete pretty soon here, and Sonny's a blue belt, and I think he's like Masters 4 division.
Yeah.
He's like 49 or 50. Tough dude, like freaking bull, man. He's a dude who like surfs and shit. And he was talking to Mike about, he was asking him, he was like, in my division, especially, like, guys do a lot of stand-up grip fighting, and the whole fight might just be us standing up grip fighting, and trying to figure it out. So what do you think I should do? Do you think I should do that? Or what do you think I should do? And Mike was like, well, do you want to win, or do you want to, like, do jujitsu and get better at jujitsu? That's the choice you got to make on that. And I was like, fuck, that's a great question. I didn't think of that, because for the most part, I would think that most people go into a tournament with the mindset, I want to win this thing, you know? And so they go in with the, taking the route of, how can what's the game plan that I can win? What am I best at? What am I going to win at? And he was saying, like, you could stand up and grip fight and try to win and try to get top position, or you can work your fucking game that you've been trying to get better at in a live situation and get really fucking good at it, regardless of winning or losing. And that's that mindset that I think a small percentage carry is what's going to make you better at jujitsu, And I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was a pretty cool idea, because in the end, like, it's good to, I guess it's good to go and, I don't know, man. Winning is another thing. Like I said, we're just here. We live and we die. What is winning? What is a fucking gold medal? Why are we doing jujitsu? Like, what do you get by winning? Could you go in there and try the fucking guard that you want to get better at in a live situation to get better at it? I think that's what the best people in the world would do. It's a lower level to have the ego to just want to go win. Like Khabib, man, Khabib Nurmagomedov, when he fought Al Iaquinta, if you watch that fight, he boxed with him. Al Iaquinta's a boxer. Khabib could have fucking taken him down and beat the fuck out of him like he did everybody else. And he knew that. And he said after the fight, in an interview that I saw, he said, well, my boxing isn't my A game. I'm not a boxer. So I wanted to box with Iaquinta, and, and instead of sparring, let me try my boxing on the biggest stage in the world in front of a fucking one of the best in the world. Cause that's how I'm going to get good at it. So he had the audacity to do something he wasn't that good at on a fucking championship fight, and that's why he's the best fighter in the fucking world. You know what I mean? And that mindset is something to carry, like, cause there's a lot of ego out there, and a lot of guys listening, just kind of wrap that mindset into your own mindset and think, would you be able to do that? Would your ego allow you to go and work on something that you're not that good at to get better at it, instead of just trying to win the fight? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and
that's a pretty deep topic,
that's good coaching, asking powerful questions. When you ask more powerful questions, your life transforms to fit that container of that question, right?
Yes.
And that's what a good coach will always do. Just like my coach, he came to me before the competition and said, you're here to perform. You're not here. Don't focus on winning, because that takes your mind to a different place. That there's self-preservation in winning, right? If I don't win, I die. Like, that's how my brain goes. Like, I had to win as a cop. There's no losing. Losing is death as a cop. That's how I took it. And so I didn't lose a fight. I made sure of it because I didn't want to go in a body bag. Right. And that's very extreme, but cops are required to do extreme things. But when coach opened up the idea of, like, here, you're here to perform. Your game is close guard. You're going to go perform close guard. You're going to do what you do, and, go for it. Go see what you got, and just reveals you to yourself. Right. You're not, the winning, and even, context, not content. So the context of that, what you shared, there's a mindset behind that, and maybe that's what he did. I think Iaquinta, he's like a very good wrestler too. He comes from that, Sarah camp, he's a very good wrestler as well. So maybe Khabib just couldn't take him down. I don't know. But the mindset that was created because of the context of that situation, if that's where Khabib was coming from, better on you. That's what pushes you to that high level, best in the world type status, is those type of powerful mindsets, those type of pushing yourself in uncomfortable areas, letting fear be your compass. That's what guided him to this place where he's one of the most successful fighters in the world. Right.
Yeah.
But that's a declaration to seek the process to bring out the very highest level of potential inside you. That's what the process can do for you. But you got to match it with, it's like what you talked about, like going and find the woman of your dreams. We've talked about relationships recently, right? And what I shared with you is like, man, instead of like seeking it from what do I get out of this? I want the woman of my dreams, me focus, right? That's a limited mindset. And what the Khabib was doing is like, where are my weaknesses? Where can I grow? How can I challenge myself in areas that I'm not comfortable with? That is an expansive experience of life, right? It's a much broader way of looking at things. So when I looked at, okay, if I'm asking for the woman of my dreams, if I'm asking to be a purple belt, if I'm asking this of life and of my academy and of my professor and of my friends, how can I show up in a way and use that as a declaration to push myself to a better version of me, to live into what I'm asking of life, right? If I'm asking for the woman of my dreams, how can I show up in a way? What can I change about what responsibility can I create inside myself and push myself with discipline so that I can be the woman of, or the man of this woman's dreams, right? I'm not just going to ask something for nothing, right? Okay, well, I got the woman of my dreams, and then it's going to be all fucking sunshine and rainbows. Because let me tell you, marriage is not sunshine and it's not rainbows. Nope. But man, is it an amazing process to create in a container that allows you to become a better version of yourself, just like jiu-jitsu is. I think marriage, to me personally, is a sacred ground. It's a sacred union where two people come together and learn how to love themselves better. And I say that very specifically. Yeah, it's about learning how to love yourself better, not about having someone else validate you externally, like we've been talking about. And so is jiu-jitsu. It's a sacred ground for you to learn how to know yourself better, to get to self mastery, to figure life out. It's a revelatory process to be a better version of yourself. That's what this is all about.
Well, and we can look at our
friendships.
Yeah, we can, as far as that, relationships like that, we can look at, as we look at our relationships in our life, we've just attracted what we are. So if you want to attract the woman of your dreams or whatever it is, you have to fucking vibrate on her level, man. You got to raise your life up to that level. Look at your life and you're going to attract somebody just like you. Wherever you're at, you're going to attract somebody similar to you. And that's another, I think we're going to get on the other podcast and get deep into relationships, man. That's going to be a good topic because I got some, what's the word? I got some different views on marriage that are interesting too, man, that we can talk about, so I definitely want to do that episode. So, we could go into it on air, but,
the community was another thing that I want to talk about. I was talking to that blue belt and he was talking about how, I don't want to cut this off if you want to keep going.
No, it's fine. That's fine.
One thing that I really loved that we talked about was, community and how academies are close to each other and, but we're still could do better at connecting. He's like, I really want to see all the academies not trying to be better than one another, but really living into the atmosphere that, our academy has. It's a very, like you were saying, it's a very relaxed thing. You guys play music, you guys are chilling, you guys are recording, you're doing stuff, right? You're living, you're being yourselves. And our academy was always one of, as soon as I showed up, I'm like, wow, this place is different. It's why you referred me to Rivalry. You remember?
Yeah.
Like, no, Victor's a good dude. Go check it out. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to argue. Like, I don't want the ego. I don't want to do that. And you're like, dude, I'm telling you, go check it out. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is what he was talking about. Like,
what's cool about that real quick is I didn't know, I never been to Rivalry, but I've known Victor since, I think I met Victor when he was a blue belt and he was training with my ex-wife at Dethrone. But just through her telling me stories of, you get to know the people that your significant other's training with and shit. They're always talking about it, just through her and just going over there and meeting him and feeling his vibe. Even this many years later, I already knew. I'm like, I don't know nothing about the academy, but I know the guy running it is a cool motherfucker, good dude, relaxed, good heart. So that's going to trickle down into the academy. And it does, man. So, I'm glad that if that shit worked out perfectly. because
Well, it's like what you're talking about, attracting who you are, right? That's like for the relationships, that's his vibration, that's his demeanor, that's who he is as a person. So you don't think that that's what he's going to create in an academy.
yeah,
And that's what
exactly.
I'm so grateful for, because I was telling the guy I was talking to, I'm like, I've never known anything different than this. Like, I think every academy is this way. And I guess it's not true, and I'm
Yeah,
like, man, why wouldn't you want it to be like this? It's a sacred space for me. It's a holy ground. This is my home from home. Like, I love being there. I love the people that show up there. I shake their hands. I love every single person that's at that academy, because I'm really grateful for what they give me, that
yeah,
ability to be myself and to have a safe space in life. And it's invaluable. It's priceless. So I'm grateful for that. And that's what he was talking about is, man, we need to have like in-town competitions with each other, and bring people to our academy, we go to their academy, and really, like, that's something that I think would be really cool for us to organize, whether you do it down there with your academies around the area, and we do it here, or, Irving's really, like, he's into organizing stuff like that. He's a real go-getter. Or, there's different guys that can do that, in our academies. I really want to see that start happening more, like expanding this community, really connecting the community in a deeper way.
yeah.
That's
I
something I
mean,
think would be cool.
yeah, for sure. And I think it would be good. I mean, I think Fresno's a better place to do that for sure because of you know, I just think Fresno would be a good place to do that. Just to connect that community down here. The jiu-jitsu community, I mean, up there, the jiu-jitsu community here is actually pretty connected, man. It's fucking big.
Nice.
It's like a big mecca. It's the mecca, bro. So it's like fucking jiu-jitsu everywhere down here, and
Yeah.
people cross train and you got I'm telling you, I got like from where I'm at right now, from where I'm sitting, I got like, Dean Lister is fucking 3 minutes from my house with Jocko Willink, in the other direction right here, you got the Hibero brothers, you know, um, which is, another 2 minutes, 7 minutes that way is Atos. You got Letty Hibero down south down there. I mean, it doesn't, you got like all these fucking giants of jiu-jitsu around here. And I think it just depends on what you're looking for as well when you go to a gym, because some of these gyms, are you looking for the relaxed vibe where you can chill and go in there and listen to music and get in that community? Or are you looking for the vibe where you are wanting to become a fucking like hardcore fighter? Like those are the different vibes, like some guy might come into our vibe to your gym and be like, man, fuck this shit. They might come into my gym like, no, this is not what I'm looking for. They want fucking burpees, fucking going at it, fighting, 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 fighting. Like it's just, I go to my kids' gym, uh, Gracie South Bay, and watch different vibe. They're really cool. They're really close. Same thing. Every gym I've been to, it's always family. Everybody's like a family in there. Everyone loves each other, man. But the vibe is different. It's it's more, it's like almost pure fucking, especially with the kids program, like competitive. They're a competition team, so
Yeah.
it's run like that. It's run like a fucking like militant, military. Boom, 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 boom. They're fucking going hard though. There's no chilling and shit. They're and I think it's just what you're looking for in a gym, and you kind of find it. You'll be attracted to what vibe you have, just like you vibe with Victor, man.
Yeah.
And Victor, that gym puts out a certain vibe where you can enjoy yourself. So I think it but I will say, man, every jujitsu situation and gym I've seen, it's always everybody is always it's always a loving community. Everybody's in there like family. So that's the common denominator, I think. And
Yeah.
also if you want to, I mean, every gym holds open mats. So if you want to get involved in fucking other gyms and can, a network, I mean, you do it, like I watched my ex, she got a bunch of girls starting to go to dethrone and shit. When she started, there were no fucking girls at the gym she was at. She was a lone white belt female starting jujitsu. And because of her networking and going to all the open mats and meeting these girls, fuck, she built this huge community of girls, and they would come train and, and it just takes you going out there and networking. You know what I mean? So I've encouraged,
Yeah.
man, if you feel like doing that, fuck, go to some open mats, man. Start taking
Yeah.
some of your
Cross
training
train.
partners and go to open mats. It's a good way to network.
Heck yeah.
So
Yeah. We got to do that. That's cool, man. That's a good story to share that. That's encouraging.
yeah,
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's cool. That's what I
yeah,
was talking about. I just want to expand this community. How do you do that? That's so cool. Like, I think that's huge. Yeah, I think that's exciting to even think that that's possible,
That's
and
it.
kind of bring it to light.
Yeah. You may, are you talking expand the
Like you're
soul
saying, network,
rollers
like
or the, oh
soul
yeah,
rollers, of course. Yeah, of
that's a good
course.
way to
Expand
fucking expand
that's
soul rollers is to network, you know, since we represent the brand, you know, like going and meeting people and networking and shit.
yeah,
Um,
but that comes with things that we learn from jujitsu, right? Like if you grow the community in jujitsu this way, you can get the same out of growing it in a podcast. You can get the same as growing your business or growing your life, your marriage. It's all relatable, right?
yeah,
And so
yeah,
I guess just asking better questions, right? Like how, man, how can we connect the communities, right? Like down there, how can we make Fresno a mecca like San Diego is?
yeah.
You know?
Get waves and fucking 70-degree weather and the Brazilians will show up.
Oh, I know. Freaking what,
That's why they're
I'm
here, bro.
like
It's like
112 degrees right now. It's like,
it's like Brazil. They like, you know, there's surfing and shit. And then I don't know, it's a lot of Brazilians here, man. So like a lot of my neighbors freaking are Brazilian, man. So I'm learning Brazilian, but there's good acai everywhere. So that's good shit. I don't know if that's even fucking like whatever, if that's a stereotype or something, whatever. But there's some Brazilian dudes that have this acai shop and they make like real acai. Fuck, it's so good.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, man. Oh, dude, I got it. There's one story I got to share real quick. This is just random fucking lighthearted story, but um, so we had another professor in the gym the other day, and because our professor was out of town, Mike was out of town, and he's 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 a relaxed dude, the guy that was there, but he's a little bit more militant. You know, he's a little bit more. He comes from a more militant background, and he's a good dude, man, world champion and shit. You know, and so I'm usually in charge of the music, and
DJ Jackson.
just I'm always putting on, you know, if the Jackson put on the music, and I'll either put on like some good reggae or I'll put on like some 90s hip hop, you know, and that's what we roll to. And so I put on this fucking Bob Marley playlist, not a playlist, a fucking station, Apple iTunes station. You know, you pick Bob Marley and you hit create station, and Apple plays what the fuck it wants to play, you know. So then we're drilling this Kimura, and the professor's over there helping out a couple of these white belts, and then fucking, you know, Bob Marley's playing and shit, and then, you know, This Girl Is on Fire comes on and shit, you know. And when you're responsible for the music and shit and you're in jiu-jitsu and This Girl Is on Fire comes on, you know, already that's a fucked up situation, you know. But I didn't realize it because I'm trying to figure out this Kimura that we were doing, so I'm focused on that, and I've noticed it got quiet over there. And I look up and everybody's fucking looking over at me and shit. And the professor is like, the professor is like, what the fuck is this? Like, oh, damn. Well, so I'm like walking over there trying to explain myself, you know. And everyone's quiet. I'm like, come on, keep training, motherfuckers. It's not that. Why does everybody stop to watch this situation? Fuck you guys. You know, and I can't get to my phone quick enough. We got fucking This Girl Is on Fire playing over the fucking speaker, you know, while I walk over, and I'm trying to explain myself, you know. And then the lady who runs a gym too, the purple belt lady, I hear her like under her breath telling the professor, she's like, he usually plays good music. I don't know, like it's usually. I'm like, fuck, come on. I'm like, hey. And as I'm walking over, I'm like, hey guys, this is a station. Like I just hit Bob Marley. This is a state. And the guys are like, well, the professor was like, he just like disregarded what I said. He's like, you don't play this bullshit during training. Oh shit. And then the guys are like, oh, it's okay if I play my playlist, you know, I'll have some funny music on there. I was like, bro, it's not my fucking playlist. iTunes is the one that put this on here, man. So anyhow, I went over and turned it. While I'm turning it off, there's other guys that are like, yeah, I got daughters too, man. It's okay. You got that song on your playlist. Fuck.
Next time Justin Bieber's gonna come on or some shit.
Yeah.
Baby.
So anyhow, yeah, man, that was funny. I'm, you know, turn the bullshit off. So anyhow, I was pissed at fucking. I mean, I'm thinking of switching to Spotify after that fucking bullshit. Fuck Apple. Why does Apple think that fucking Alicia Keys goes with Bob Marley?
No more boba, no more Apple
No more.
Music
Yeah,
station.
yeah. Fuck both of those.
They'll fuck
So
you up.
both of them almost fucking ruined my life.
Oh man, he usually plays good music, man. He fucked up today.
Yeah, yeah. I heard her
Oh
whispering
shit.
that shit. I'm
Killing
like,
the vibe in this place, man. Playing
yeah.
that bullshit. Give me that blue
Oh,
belt. Take that blue belt off. You play that shit music.
yeah. That's some fucking white belt music, man. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Oh gosh, man.
Oh shit,
That's
man. So
hilarious.
yeah, yeah. That was
Oh,
good. That was another good
that's a good
situation.
story. That's a good
Yeah.
experience. That's what I want to like also, I guarantee you the guy that asked that question is the only one that has experienced kind of like isolation and going to a new place. Or, maybe we could ask like the listeners, like, hey, share with us like, experiences where, what's something that you've experienced about that was kind of awkward or off-putting or a struggle when you were starting jujitsu or when you went to a new academy. I know one of the guys I trained with, Ryan, he has only been there for like a year and a half, which I've only ever known him to be there, but he came from another academy. And so it must have been a big difference from like getting almost to like, I think he became a brown belt there or, something like that, but switched to a new academy. I wonder what, it felt like for him to be at a new place as an upper belt. So I guarantee you there's some really cool like experiences that guys have. And we got to get D on, we got to get your boy on,
Steve.
Steve. And kind of share their experiences because every guy I talk to has a different experience. Blue belt means something different to him, and there's some really good insights in there. So I wonder how other people are experiencing the community of jiu-jitsu, and maybe it's a struggle for some people, like it has been for me in the past. And I would like to hear, like, kind of ask questions of the guys listening or the guys and gals listening, like, hey, what has your experience been of what's been a sticking point for you where you felt isolated in the community? Not saying there's something wrong with the community, but just saying like, hey, we hold ourselves back sometimes. So what do you think are some awkward things that maybe you could share with us that we could point out that we haven't pointed out yet? Because it's only our experience so far that we shared with that question. Maybe that question brought up something for other people too. So if you're listening, leave a rating and review. Like we've been saying, that really helps us out and means a ton to us. And also, let us know what you think about that. Go on the Instagram page, send us a DM on that, Soul Rollers _ JJ, and let us know, like, hey, this was a hard point for me when I started, or hey, this was something that was really hard once I got to blue belt. Let us know what your take on it is, and we can grow through that too.
Yeah, man. That sounds good. Steve will be good to ask because he came as a blue belt
Nice.
to Stronghold, so that'll be a good question that he can ask, and we can relay to the question asker. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Shit,
Did we hit on everything you
I
think?
think we did, man. Let me see
It's
here.
been a good one. I think we're getting caught
Yeah,
up.
yeah. We've hit on a lot of shit, man. So I think we're
Yeah, and I asked Corrales to come on too because he got promoted to blue belt with me.
mhm.
So shout out to all the blue belts that got promoted, and Booby, he got promoted to purple belt. And damn, is he was a badass blue belt. So I'm like, damn, that's what it takes to get the purple. I got a little scared when he got promoted. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to learn a shit ton to go there. But
Mhm.
it's exciting because that's a huge container for me to learn how to like become a better person to get there. That's a
Yeah,
big challenge. Love that. But yeah, I asked him to come on because his story was really inspiring when he shared, what got him to where he's at right now. I'm like, whoa, that's inspiring. So he said he'd be willing to come on too. So I'm excited. We got, we're gonna start working on getting, some people on here as guests, and I'm excited to share their stories and kind of expand this broader experience of jiu-jitsu for people so that you can hear so many different experiences and
yes.
all kind of coming from the same sacred ground and community of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that I think it'll be cool to get people on here because it really represents the title of the podcast, these different people and their stories, these normal people who go in there and scrap every night, and live regular lives, but they're in this fight club, that's changing their life, and they represent, those are soul rollers, man. So to get them on and share their story, I think that's helping the podcast to take shape, take form of what it is meant to be. So I'm looking forward to interviewing these guys, man. Steve, and then Brandon with Iron Key Real Estate down. He real quick, he made a good, when I met with him, he made a good point. He was saying that because his real estate company. They're doing well. They're expanding, and they've been doing it for a while now. And he said it's the same thing as people ask me, how have I become successful with this business? And he said, it's the same fucking thing as jujitsu. You just keep showing up. You just don't quit. You just keep showing up, and you'll grow, and you'll expand, and you'll find success in whatever it is you're doing. Just don't quit. So, to anybody out there, don't quit. You started for a reason. Don't force yourself to live with the fact that you quit something, as powerful as jujitsu.
Yep.
So I think we're good.
Well said.
I think we can call it. And I don't even know how long this one went, but it was a good one.
It was a good long one. And we're getting back in that routine. I'm shaking off the rust of concussion and getting back into this groove. And gosh, it feels good to be on here and chatting with you, man.
Yeah, man. Let's keep it going.
Therapy like jujitsu is. It just makes my brain happy. So I'm grateful for you and grateful everyone that listens. If you've listened to this podcast once, twice, however many times, I love you. I'm grateful for you. Appreciate you. And I'm excited for the next episode already.
Like, yeah, we're already about to hit episode 19. So let's keep it going, man. And keep showing up. And again, thanks to everybody. Make sure you follow our Instagram at soulrollers_JJ. And we're going to be loading that with a bunch of good content, video clips and memes and shit that we've created. So yeah, if you get any value from this podcast, you'll definitely get value from that page. Thanks again for listening, and we will reconvene next week and get another episode up.
Yeah, and thanks for being a part of this journey with us. We're growing just like we grow in jiu-jitsu. It's a little, last night I did the fundamentals class with a lot of brand new white belts, and they were struggling with just the warm-ups, right? I don't know if you remember doing that, where you're like, what am I doing? You look like a complete, like a fish out of water, kind of like when you're flopping around on the mats and you feel like a complete idiot. Like, that's normal to feel. You're safe. It's okay. We've all done it. Your first month, you feel like you completely suck. It's totally cool. And I feel like the same way about this podcast. It's like, it's kind of nerve-wracking to kind of get this thing going. Like, share it, tell people about it. Like, I don't want to be pretentious. Like, oh, listen to my podcast, bro. Like, I feel awkward, and I love it. Like, I love this. Like, I'm doing a podcast. Who the hell am I to do a podcast? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to be good at it, but I'm loving it,
Yeah.
And that's what we do in jiu-jitsu, is we love it and we keep pushing ourselves through the awkwardness. And I'm just grateful for the listeners that have followed this with us. It's like I told you today, is like, man, we're really getting like organized with stuff. We're really getting that page going. We're really growing some stuff, and it's going to get better and better and better. And I'm excited for that. So thank you for being along on this journey and process with us. And
you said, oh, okay.
Going along on it with us, right?
Along it. Okay. I thought you said, thank you for being long. I was going to say that's what she usually says. Never. Yeah,
well, there we go. It's, we got to put a warning on our podcast because of you.
You're the one who said, thank you for being long. Okay, go ahead.
Going along on this journey with us. Like, the first few were bumpy and we're learning, we're getting better equipment. We're just doing all of it, Frank, he's a purple belt and he has a great podcast, and seeing like his progression and it's just like jiu-jitsu. We'll have to have him on sometime. He can talk about podcasting. He's a funny dude too. Like, so a lot of fun stuff, man. And it's getting better every day. Just like every day we go to jiu-jitsu, we're a little bit better. So keep with us on this journey. Let's get to 50 reviews and get some ratings. And, that's part of this journey, so
yeah, let's get it or continue doing what we're doing. And that just, God damn it, I got to touch on something now. That's what she said. So now you said, what were you saying there? There was something that came up that I wanted to, before we go here. You're being uncomfortable with sharing, the podcast because you feel pretentious. You feel like you're not having humility and, and that's just just what we talked about earlier. It's when you put yourself out of your comfort zone, creating a podcast, putting yourself out to the world, sharing your art, sharing your heart, sharing your truth. That is when you do that, the universe gives you growth opportunities within that as you move along. And that's one of those huge growth opportunities, like it's self-belief, like start seeing yourself the way that the way that God sees you, man, the way that the world, universe, whatever fucking thoughts you have, we all have this greatness in us, but the greatness can't bloom until we see it within ourselves, So, step up on a motherfucking pedestal and say, I'm sharing my heart with the motherfucking world. And this podcast right here is called Soul Rollers, man. And I got a lot to share. And I'm an amazing human, and I'm an amazing person, and I'm a tough motherfucker, and this is what I want to share with the world. And that's, the more we believe in ourselves, the more that greatness inside of us has a chance to get out, and the Jiujitsu podcast, these things are giving you and I and whoever else the opportunity to grow into that self-belief, and that confidence that comes with the vision that we have for our lives. So hell yeah, man.
Yeah. And it's about service. It's not about like ego. It's just about being of absolute service.
That's what this podcast is.
And if this influences one person to get back in there, like Tom shared with me, he said it got him motivated to get back in there, then it's worth it. So yeah.
Same with Juan, man.
And that pedestal isn't, your amazingness and your how great you are doesn't take away from anyone else's greatness. It doesn't diminish anyone else's light. That pedestal, it just puts you at the same human level of everyone else. We all have this greatness inside of us, and we can live into it if we want or choose to. Some choose to, some don't. And that's totally okay. But at the end of the day, it's not about being better than anyone else. It's just about getting better, 1% better, right? Than yourself. It's better than who you were yesterday, and continue to grow. Life, you and, self-mastery, it's what it is.
Yeah, and there's that quote, you can't, I don't know the quote, but it says something about how you can't, don't dim your own light at the, expense of your dreams to like make other people feel comfortable. That's, your growth and your growth and who you're becoming as a human. You can't let that be stunted because you're worried that the people who are still stuck are going to be offended by it or going to judge you or anything like that. Because here's the thing. There's going to be people who are going to judge you. And then there's going to be people who are completely inspired by you. Those are the ones that, matter. They're the ones who are looking at you, who you're giving hope to those people by standing up and being who you were truly meant to be. So there's a fucking necessity to stand up and be who you were truly meant to be. There's a necessity to step through the fear that's holding you back from doing the things you want to do in life. It's never coming as long as you're acting of service and trying to be a light in the world. There's never too much of that. We need everybody to do that shit. So, we move forward without fear, man, complete faith, and don't worry about the outcome. Don't worry about the how, just knowing that the vision is unfolding as we move along,
Yeah.
So rollers all day. Right on. I think that's good, man. I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right, dude. It's good talking to you, man. And on to the next one. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, work hard this week. Let's keep it going and get some good rolls in. And I'm sure we'll have a ton to talk about next week too. So let's go.
Yeah. Hit us up. All right. See you, man.
All right. See you. Love you.
All right. Later.